Hello there, I'm Jo Trott and this is the Amijo show. This is part of a 21-day special COVID-19 series. And although afterwards this will continue because I just love doing them, and this was always my intention to speak to the amazing people in my network who are at the top of their game, experts in their field, and they have something really special to offer. So I am today speaking to really good friend and fellow member of the Professional Speakers Association, top guy who's Mr. Sociable, and we were just talking about how many hugs we're missing. Rohit Talwar. Hi Rohit, how are you?
I'm good, Jo. How are you doing?
I am really good. I've decided to come kind of al fresco now. I've been sat in my lounge. My lounge is the coldest room in the house. It's like a fridge, no matter how hot it is. I just thought I'm just gonna raw put a line under that one. I'm gonna come out in the garden and make it work. So there we go.
It's a beautiful garden to escape to. Unfortunately, I live on the first floor. We do have a garden, but it's tiny and it's full of my neighbours, so there's kind of less social distancing there than on the street.
You're jammed in there, are they, like sardines?
Yeah. Everyone's down there and, trying to kind of soak up the sun and fresh air. But no, my flat's the reverse of yours. It's always really warm, so I just have to put the heating on for like an hour one day, and it heats the flat for the next 3. So that's cool. Not that you need that kind of information, but
Hey,
in times of crisis, we revert to
any information is good information right now. We're just talking about hugs, weren't we, and how we're missing physical contact. And I've got girls, but they don't really want to hug me anymore. Not really. No. So I'm no better off than you, Rohit. We're in a hugless vacuum at the moment.
Yeah, well, there's 2 levels of that. There's like the adult hugs with all your friends and seeing them and just being around them. And then I have a whole bunch of great nieces and nephews. I think we've got 6 of them. And they're an incredibly huggy, playful group. And most of them are under 6. So just playing with them, hugging them, rolling around with them is so much fun. I see them pretty regularly, and that's all been kind of shut off. It's different, playing with them and chatting with them via video isn't quite the same. You can't hold their attention in the same way.
Yeah, there's a lot of grandparents really missing their grandchildren. Same thing, isn't it? It's just, it's that kind of lovely contact, the playfulness and everything else. But we just have to make do for now, don't we? And then the minute it all ends, we could all make up for it, I guess.
Yeah, we'll all rush out. Once we've had our haircuts, had our nails done, and all that, then we'll go out, start hugging.
I'm contemplating literally, if my roots grow out really bad, I'm just going to cut it all off and have like a crew cut. Just going to go like Sinead O'Connor. Do you remember? In Nothing Compares to You. I'm just going to go for it.
I think you should. I think completely bald is probably quite an interesting look for it's like post-pandemic dystopian view. We all go out, no hair, we're all emaciated because we've run out of food and toilet paper.
I don't know why I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing because just who knows what's going. But you brought me on nicely to kind of the future, because you are publisher as well of this amazing. I know. But can I show you something? This will make you laugh. I promise you. So obviously, my own book was out beginning of last week, which I'm really thrilled about. But I haven't received a copy yet, so I've done the make do amend.
Excellent.
And your book was the perfect book that I could flip it with. Look,
yeah, you just stick it on the shelf behind you when you're speaking, and then people think, "Wow, what a big book!"
It's a perfect match. So maybe, Rohit, we should do a joint publishing job. Your book at one end, the future of business, and how the hell you manage it right now, working from home with the kids at home. So perfect.
Well, and I'm glad to see that my book is now doing more than just being a paperweight or a doorstop. That it's actually found a real purpose.
Yeah, the door keeps slamming now. It's really annoying. So you're amazing. I mean, every time I hear you speak, Rohit, especially on stage, but every time I hear you speak, it just blows me away what you have to say about the future of business, about AI and everything else. You are the man, and you have a fantastic way of bringing all of that into language that even I can understand. But we thought we'd talk about the future of business and the future of moving on from this, because it's not something I've really I've played around with ideas in my head, but not really explored. So feel free. Let's try and think forward and something to look forward to, hopefully.
Well, whether it's looking forward or not, it's kind of anticipating, the almost probable after this ends.
Mm.
So there's some stuff that I think we can all imagine, like, you know, those who have money will be getting out, having the haircuts, having their nails done, having the spa treatment that they haven't had in months. And so there'll be a little boom in that area. Secondly, I think restaurants, pubs, live entertainment, we're all going to want to connect again, to be entertained. Watching it on video is great, but live streaming a theatre production isn't the same as being in the audience.
Mm-mm.
And so we're going to see quite a few places like that. Unexpected things like memorial services. The number of people who've died during this period who haven't been able to have a proper memorial. So there's going to be kind of big boom in those kinds of things. Literally everyone wanting to do it, have the celebration of their loved ones. And then you're going to see some kind of semi-unexpected consequences. So there's an expectation that we're going to see birth rates go up come December. Certainly people with their first child, maybe not the second, but people going out and buying the stuff for their, to start to kit out their nursery. People who've been cooped up and suddenly realized that they want to remodel their home to kind of create more spaces where they can hide from each other or get the kitchen done, or I think there'll be a little building boom. So our collective friend Norma is going to be delighted because she's got no work at the moment, but people like her are going to have huge demand to get stuff done quickly because everyone's worried about a second wave. Then the dark side, we know in China and in Italy, there've already been a lot of divorce cases put in, a big, peak in divorce cases. So I think you'll see a lot of that. You'll see a lot of litigation as well. As much as we love the NHS right now and the health service, I suspect a lot of people will bring cases against the health service in the way they always do, but because of their fear that, their concerns that their relatives weren't treated well if they had COVID, or that their treatment was delayed or postponed because they had some other condition that didn't get treated and they got worse or whatever. So I think you're going to see a little spike in those kind of things. Huge amounts of litigation between landlords and tenants over that kind of stuff, between companies and their suppliers when they cancelled orders, and then the contracts between hotels and event owners and all that stuff. As much as we think it's going to be peace, love and understanding and a return to a loving, more caring, more trusting and open world, there'll also be a huge amount of that stuff going on. So lawyers are going to just be overwhelmed with litigation work. I think there'll be some interesting stuff that people have realized during the downturn or during this period that will change their behaviors as well. So a lot of people I knew at the beginning of the year were already signing up for this thing and buying nothing new this year. And if they were going to buy anything, they were going to buy it from a second-hand store, and they were going to take something in as well, so that they added nothing new overall. But I think with 3 months or 2 months or whatever of not buying anything and not needing to buy anything, there'll be a bigger group who go, no, actually, I don't need to buy anything. So there'll be that group. There'll be the others who desperately want to treat themselves. So we're going to see, I think we're going to see some really interesting shifts happening in society. I think there will be a boom for a lot of industries like the IT industry. Inevitably, people are already saying, well, how do we automate our business more so we're less reliant on people? We'll see a lot more of that go on. Real estate's going to be challenged, where a lot of companies have, beginning to realize that they don't need to have their staff working from the office. And actually a lot of staff are more productive, unless they've got 2 kids and an annoying partner, when they might not be quite so well, and they've kind of got grandparents and everyone. But for a lot of people, they can actually be a lot more productive. There's less interruptions, there's less meetings, there's a chance to just get on with your work. So a lot of companies are going to go, well, do we need to bring you back into the office? Or can we transfer our overheads to you? You're working perfectly well from home, we'll just carry on with that. That might reduce the amount of real estate required for offices and things. My gut feel is we're going to see an awful lot of small retailers go bust. They're not announcing it yet, but 2 or 3 months of no revenues, debt's piling up. I think a lot will just, when we get back to this, they'll go through the process of filing for bankruptcy, which is really sad because, you know, they're a big chunk of the economy. They're an important part of the vibrancy of high streets. So I think that will happen. But pretty quickly. I think you'll see new ones emerge, new people come in to take up this space. What types of businesses I think will be interesting to see. I think for a while we'll see less of the fancy new food concepts and the, you know, the Argentinian cross with Japanese, Nigerian street food vendor, you know, or whatever it is. You know, people are coming up with these great concepts, but I think there'll be a
Yeah.
bit less of that because
Yeah.
there'll be less money around to fund them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of startups are going to go bust in the next few months because the people who are giving them their money are just going to stop. But then I think there'll be so much money looking for a home that you'll see a whole new wave of startups doing clever things that will emerge. One of the really exciting things that's come out of this period is the number of clever new ideas for sharing data, connecting communities,
Yeah.
working together to solve problems. And all those kinds of tools now prove themselves and they're going to be scaled up. And so you'll see a lot of those kinds of things getting investment. But
Yeah.
there you go. There's my 7 minutes on.
Okay, seriously, that was a brilliant kind of overview of what we have to look forward to, and I totally agree. I think that the high street will be decimated, but you know, I think people really can make a conscious choice to when everything is ramping back up, that we really focus on the small brands, the little shops, the local shops, and almost make a point of saying, actually, I could go to Waitrose, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go to my little shop and pay that bit more because these little shops are what we really need in our communities. And just make those kind of decisions. I think you're right. I think the entertainment industry is going to go mad. Jason should have a big party, don't you think?
Several.
He should yes, weekly, if not daily. So, you know, I think there is a lot of scope. I totally agree. But, you know, that's a really interesting point. And I'm in some female founder groups in tech. I don't know how I've ended up being there. I'm a bit of an anomaly within it, but I've ended up there and I'm grateful. And they're already diversifying within their brands and saying, well, actually, we were going to do that, but let's do that now. And the adaptability is really part and parcel and key, I think, to success in any way, shape or form at the moment, isn't it? Whether it be financially as the outcome or just to keep going as a brand and a business.
Yeah, and you know, I think it'd be interesting to see, like, a lot of restaurants have switched to doing takeaways instead, and you know, electronic ordering. You know, a decent restaurant with fine dining that would never have done takeaway before, suddenly discovering that they've got a really strong revenue stream now from takeaway, but a fraction of the cost base. And so you could see them giving up their nice, you know, prime location where they're on a knife edge the whole time as to whether they're going to make any money, to a much smaller, you know, shared kitchen with 5 other restaurants, you know, middle of nowhere, where they've just got delivery drivers taking the food to you. And where the technology is moving to as well, you can heat this stuff on the way to the person's home, so you can keep it really hot and, you know, tasting as it would in a restaurant, but for a little bit less money, but for a lot less cost for the restaurant owners. So I think you'll see that kind of thing happening as well.
That's amazing. And yeah, I love the idea of like the shared kind of kitchen spaces where it's, you know, one kind of restaurant one day, like an evolving. That's fantastic. And obviously, you know, I was thinking as you were talking, we really need to start up a delivery company, really, don't we? I mean, that as things settle, people will get fed up with cooking. We're not going out, so deliveries are going to go. So, you know, I think we should start up a company like now, really. What do you think?
Well, so my big idea here is around when I watch cooking programs like
Hold on, make notes, everyone. Rohit's big ideas are very good. Make notes.
When you watch things like MasterChef, you just want to taste all the dishes. And if you do them yourself, they're never quite the same. So what if you could have a service that basically said, I want sent to my door at the time I'm going to watch the program, whether it's live or recorded, you say the time, you have a little tray that's self-heating that has all the things in it. And so when, you know, at the moment the judge is tasting something, you taste it. And you basically have little portions of everything. And then, you know, if you like it, you can order more, so that the chef in MasterChef might not win, but they could make a whole load of money out of preparing those dishes on a regular basis. You could get to some really fun new concepts coming out of this. And so, I think as much as there's going to be some gloomy stuff and a lot of people losing their jobs, and it's all going to feel a bit grim for a while, I think there's a lot of new ideas coming through, and it's in the new ideas that some of the most interesting stuff will happen. I also think in bigger businesses, a lot of the more senior managers will take the opportunity to retire, because this has been really tough on them.
Yeah.
And their boards and their investors are going, we're not sure you're the person to lead us through this massive switch to being more digital and being more, very, very different to how we were before. So whether it's in financial services, shipping, construction, or whatever. So you could see a whole new raft of new management coming through with, the shackles taken off and being given a license to thrill. And I think that could be exciting, because that will create opportunity again. It will allow new ideas, new approaches to come through. And it's in that stuff that we have to place our hope that, if those businesses open the doors to new ideas, then it pulls them through from everywhere. So I'm quite hopeful that we'll see some kind of regeneration, some innovation, and some, just some exciting new ideas come through as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think that's it's going to be fascinating watching that. But you've hit a nerve for me, because I remember writing a chapter for one of your books. It didn't pass. It wasn't good enough, unfortunately. But never mind. I'm over it. Maybe next time. But that was my focus, because actually I think, as much as I completely rate AI and the ability it gives us, the time for creativity is now. And we're really seeing it now in this situation, because people are desperate to do something different, and therefore they have to be creative. But I think, like you say, once it even resumes a normal level, whatever the new norm is, I think, like businesses can look to being so, well, actually, how can we outsource creativity? Why does it just have to be, the R&D department that comes up with all the fun stuff? Let's get everyone involved. And I guess what this is doing now is creating communities within workplaces, isn't it? Much more, in some ways, because the connectivity has to happen for those teams to stay working, don't they? With most organisations. So it will be fascinating.
Definitely, yeah. And I think, where we draw our ideas from will open up a lot to who can give us ideas as to how to solve things. I think we'll look to younger people a lot more as well. And two reasons for that. One is, a lot of their ideas haven't been heard. And because of, layers in organizations, they may have got crushed a little bit. But secondly, from a medical perspective, this sense that younger people are slightly more immune to these things and slightly more resilient, you might just see companies gradually shifting the makeup of their workforce so they have more young people who can stay in work and stay productive and are less likely to fall victim to this particular virus or whatever the next one happens to be. It's woken people up, and it's going to change HR policies. And I think those will favour younger people.
Definitely. And talking of young people, obviously the education system is completely thrown up into the air right now, which personally I'm loving as an ex-teacher, because it's been wrong for so long, and it was time for it to be kind of completely rejigged. And in some ways, I think this is almost pressing a big boost button on that. I mean, I was considering teaching my kids from home. I know so many friends are doing that now, and actually we're all doing that now. And it's the schools that are reacting quickly, coming up the systems, are actually making it work really well. And it's creating a whole different way of looking at education, which I'm phenomenally excited about. I think it has been wrong for so long.
I think there's a big boost to digital literacy going on. Whether it's parents, whether it's teachers, whether it's ordinary workers, people who sort of resisted learning how to use the technology now have to. And teachers, they've been forced to learn to create content online, make their lessons interesting, work out how they keep the attention of 30 kids or 20 kids in a virtual classroom. And so it's forced them to kind of embrace the technology and do what they should have learned in the last 5 years to learn it in a few days because they've got to deliver a class on it, you know. And I'm sure that for a lot of them, their Easter holidays are going to be packed full of learning, you know, how to create an addressable PDF, how to create online quizzes, how to do something to make the history lesson or geography lesson more interesting when you've got no physical artifacts in the classroom, all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, the sciences, that you could make them a lot more interesting by using a lot more video now from across the web about people doing different experiments. So you could really show people fun stuff to bring to life your ideas. So I'm really hoping that this drives the literacy of teachers, but also parents, and you know, particularly digital literacy, and just gives us a kind of more skilled workforce. The group I worry about are the parents who maybe aren't as equipped to do that, and you know, don't necessarily enjoy spending that much time with their kids, and have used their TV as a childminder or the laptop as a childminder.
Yeah.
How they learn to cope with this, where they have to supervise, that I think is going to be a bit of a challenge. And I fear that there'll be a group of kids who kind of get left behind a little bit because they haven't got the teacher input. But, you know, it's one of those challenges that we're going to have to address in the coming months.
Yeah, definitely. And a bit like the plane going overhead. So we don't have planes anymore. And one's decided to go overhead because I'm on an interview to you, obviously.
I'm amazed that there are still planes flying, and it's just.
So that's the third one today. So
I get that they might fly for cargo, but I
it
kind of
must
feel like if we're putting people on lockdown, we should stop planes for a little while to stop people going or coming with more of the virus. Just stop it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, I agree. It probably is a cargo. I have no idea,
Yeah,
but yeah. So no, fascinating. I love talking to you, Rohit. You're always buzzing with ideas, and
my pleasure.
it's been really nice to talk about after this pause, as I'm trying to call it, something that it is right now. And you can find out more about Rohit on which website would you prefer to?
If you go to fastfuture.com, you'll find everything you need to know about us.
Which is the publisher of this brilliant book, and it will give you something to read for a little bit because there's quite a lot in there.
Yeah, and then when, you know, if you need a break, just flip it over and read Joe's book.
And then read my book. You can read that one kind of like while you're in the bath, because that's kind of pretty not quite so major as that one. It's a win-win. But when are you writing your next? Because this obviously there's a book here, Rohit. You know this. It's like something else for you to do right now.
Yeah, so we've got one coming out on the 1st of June, which is looking at scenarios for what our world could look like after the pandemic. We've got contributors from all over the world sharing their ideas, some brilliant articles already in. They're submitting until the 19th of April, and then we're publishing on the 1st of June. So it's all quite fast track, but that'll be the next one. And then I'm guessing that we might have enough for 2 books worth because of the number of people who threatened to submit a chapter. We've already got a lot in. We've already got half a book's worth of content in already. But, you know, anyone in the kind of future thinking world has said, yeah, we'll do something for you. So we'll see how many actually turn those threats into 1,000-word chapters. But, you know, it's going to be great. And so that's keeping me focused at the moment. I've taken a very deliberate view not to be chasing clients and ex-clients, trying to, you know, push my wares at the moment, because I think they're busy just trying to work out what they're trying to do. I think the scenario work will help them, and that'll be about the time when they really need something and can act on it. So that's our thinking.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and just by the way, have you heard of Proper Books Publishing yet?
No, who's that? Is that you? Your publishing company?
It's officially me from Sunday. Can you believe it?
Right.
So the planet has taken off for me right now in the world of books, and yeah, something it's been on my radar for ages. So
Are these going to be your books or other people's?
Both. So my book will come, but my next book is Women Leading. Is my first proper book in the proper book publishing range. Who knew, Rohit? Who knew? But you've inspired me partly towards that, because I've seen the way you've grown your amazing company. I've met your guys in your team, and it's just such a great energy that you're really dedicated to what you do with such purpose and clarity, and I think that's kind of something that I'm aiming for. So yeah, there you go. Early days, but
Brilliant.
I'll keep
Good
you
luck with
posted.
that. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's
I will
exciting.
need it, and I'm sure I need to ring you and say help. But yeah, well, exciting times. It's
We
a
can
time for
certainly introduce you to all the people who do our copy editing and typesetting and proofreading, and we outsource everything. Cover design, it's all outsourced so that you can get it done efficiently and quickly.
Thank you. Yes, no, that's not my bag for sure. So Writing Matters is who I was working on in this book. So that's kind of, they're helping me towards that. But I would really appreciate any help right now, because I'm phenomenally excited, and the creative side is my bit. So the back end and all that kind of stuff is obviously needs doing too. Definitely, definitely. So lovely talking. Thanks for coming on the show,
Pleasure.
Rohit. And
Thank you.
wishing you well, and hope you get your hug soon.
Yeah, there's some real activity going on in your garden now. It's excellent.
Is
Birds.
that?
Yeah, there was
Oh, the
just birds
birds.
flying
Yeah,
past.
I know. Get
Excellent.
loads. My garden's actually about this big, but I just get loads of birds in it. It's so great. Very blessed. Very lucky.
Excellent. All
Okay,
right. Lovely to
thank you
speak.
for
Bye.
watching. This is the
Bye.
Amijo show. That was
Bye.
Rohit Talwar. Bye. Bye.